Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining our session. I'd like to apologize in advance. I've been having so much fun over the last couple of days. I completely lost my voice, but I'm going to keep going. So today, this afternoon, we're going to talk about replacing cash and checks and how we can use PayPal to pursue enormous amount of opportunities that we see in the market. So in this session, we're going to talk a little bit about, actually, before I go, why don't I introduce myself? How about that? I'm Paulina Klemenko. I'm responsible for strategy and business operations for PayPal X. This is Neelam Sabu, product manager for PayPal Business Payments product. We also have a pleasure of having with us today Steve Jarvis, VP of Marketing at Concur, and Patrick Duncan, Director of Product Marketing at HomeAway. These are our two partners who have integrated PayPal Business Payments, the 50 cents product that we're going to be talking about today. And so in a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask them to come up and tell us a little bit about their business and how they have taken advantage of the product and what sort of what experience they've had so far. So let's just keep going. So today, this afternoon, we're going to talk a little bit about the opportunity we see in the market as the check and cash payments are going digital. And we already all know that check is dead, right? Then we're going to talk about PayPal Business Payments product, and Neelam is going to take you through the product features, what use cases we intend to address with the product, and ultimately how you can apply. And then, as I said, I'm going to ask Steve and Patrick to come up here and do a quick demo and also talk a little bit about their business and how business payments fit into their business model. So we'll just do a little bit of trivia here. Did you know that there are 9 billion household bills that are sent out every year? And 70% of them are paid by check. Did you also know that small businesses send out 14 billion invoices per year? And guess what? 80% of them are still paid by check. Did you also know that U.S. businesses cut 1 billion checks per year to pay rebates and rewards to us, consumers? That's a lot of checks. And consumers and businesses are saying no to checks. And guess where they're going? They're moving online. This is kind of an interesting data point. Over the last 10 years or so, checks have been declining at a pretty steady and even accelerating rate. And if they continue declining at this rate, they will become completely obsolete by 2018. What's in for consumers? Well, guess what? No more less checkbooks, or leaking stamps, or running to the post office to pay that rent at the last minute. And that's what we're planning to address with PayPal Business Payments. And for businesses, you don't have to wait for that snail mail in the mail, and then wait, 5-7 days, run to the bank, stand in line to deposit this check, and then just wonder how to match up the checks with your accounting software and the books. It's all going electronic and digital, and that's where PayPal Business Payments comes in. We want to, just in conclusion, we want to highlight that we see this happening in the market. It's happening fast, and we see sort of a lot of opportunities in the space. I'm going to turn it over to Neelam, who's going to tell you more about the product.
Thank you, Paulina, for setting the right context for introduction of our new product, PayPal Business Payment, and highlighting all the inefficiencies and difficulties with handling checks or even cash for business payments. Let me go over some of the details of the product and its offering and how you can use this product for your businesses. Some of the use cases that we have identified so far are as follows. The way we have categorized this is in 3 categories. Business to consumers is the first one. Some of the use cases and the markets we have are rebates, rewards, expense reimbursements. You will see a demo of how Concur has integrated this product for their expense reimbursement product. This is available for adoption, and if you have any of these use cases in mind, you're welcome to start your development and apply it for your application on X.com. The next use case, business to business. This can be categorized further as small business to small business to enterprise, enterprise to enterprise. Some of you may have already seen a demo in our previous session where FreshBooks and Bill.com demoed how they have integrated PayPal business payments into their payables as well as receivables applications. This product is in pilot, and we are experimenting with several use cases, how it fits into your business models, if there are any user experience enhancements that we need to do. So suggestions are welcome for this part. Consumer to business, this is the most widely available or the most widely known use cases for all of us. Checks and cash is predominant in these use cases. Some of them are rent, education, medical, utilities, and taxes. This product is also in pilot, and we have some early adopters for this product. You might have heard in yesterday's panel where we had one partner who has integrated this product for their rent application, Rams Rent. We have one partner, MedPay Online, who is doing their medical payments using this product. This is in pilot, and we will be experimenting with some of the nuances of the product in terms of user experience or other pricing structure, etc., for over a period of next few months. This, you might have heard this already, but again to emphasize, we are not targeting retail or e-commerce marketplaces with this product. If you have any retail use cases, you're more than welcome to use our regular product, which is Adaptive Payments, and we can provide you all the information on that. If your non-retail business model is none of these, but if you have more ideas and you think that business payments fits rightly into your business model, you're welcome to contact us at the email address provided here. We can talk more about it, how you can adopt this product. Let's get into the feature details of the product. It's primarily, it's only bank and balance funded transactions. So the sender of the payment who's using business payments has to have PayPal balance in their account, or the transaction needs to be funded using their bank account, which is attached to the PayPal account. Srinivas addressed some of this in the earlier session about how remittance details is important for B2B payments, where sender and receivers have a very well-established process where payments are going through for their invoices. If say, for example, a receiver receives a payment for $5,000 using a check, they have to do a lot of reconciliation to understand what the payment is attached for, what it is for, which was the invoice which was sent, what was the PO order which this payment addresses. So this is one of the major pain points for B2B payments in today's world. And as Rashtun's addressed in the earlier session, some users say that remittance details is more important than the payment itself. What we are addressing with this product is we are piloting secure adaptive storage along with the payment details itself. So there are a set of new APIs which you can use to securely pass on your payment details along with the payment. Receiver will get these details in their PayPal account, and they can directly see the invoices or any other details which are related to the payment. If you need more information on secure adaptive storage, I can give you some contacts. You can talk to me after this session, and I'll forward you to the right people. This is entirely built on adaptive payments. So if you already have an existing integration with adaptive payments, there is minimal change required to get onboarded onto business payments. We had a lot of sessions for adaptive payments already. If you have any more questions, we can talk after the session. But here is some very brief highlight for adaptive payments. Adaptive payments support a variety of different models where you can have a simple payment where one sender is making a payment to one receiver, or you can have a pre-approval based model where a sender creates a pre-approval agreement with a partner or with a developer, and then the payments after that can be directly made like one-click payment on the partner site itself. This is one of the split payments that we have. It's called parallel payments, where one sender in one payment request can make payments to multiple receivers. A slightly more complex form of split payment is chain payment, where sender is making a payment to one entity and then the payment is getting split to multiple parties. So business payment supports all of these use cases, so you can, it's flexible enough to adopt to your business model and still avail all the benefits that are associated with business payments. The interesting part, pricing. There's one major difference between the pricing for business payments compared to the pricing models that we have with rest of PayPal. In rest of PayPal, the pricing is always calculated based on the receiver category. So if you want a special pricing for your application, you would have to onboard all of those receivers to avail that pricing. With business payments, and the use cases that we're talking about, we have addressed that one pain point which business payments would most often encounter, which is onboarding all of your receivers, or for example, all of your employees if you're doing expense reimbursement for this special pricing. So this pricing is calculated based on your business model, on your application. Once your application is vetted for the special pricing, all of the payments which go through your application, whether sender is paying the fees or receiver is paying the fees, they will always get the pricing that your application is approved for. It's a simple flat fee structure. As some of you may have seen in the earlier session, percentage-based fees does not work with business payments, primarily because of the transaction amount is usually very high. It's 50 cents per transaction, and that's what we announced yesterday too. In terms of geographic scope, as I mentioned, it's a pilot right now. We are testing this out in the US market with senders and receivers, both based in US. We are looking into expanding this to other geographies soon. Let me go over quickly in terms of how the application process works. You might have attended some other sessions for the application process, and I can direct to Aaron, he's here, if you have more questions on the application process. In terms of keeping time in mind, let me just quickly go through this. You would typically define your use cases and see if it fits into the business payments model. You can have more details on the website mentioned here. You can understand the scope, eligibility, and learn more about the product. Next step depends on where you are in your application process. You can either just quickly test it on Sandbox with a very simple application, or design and completely build the application and then test on Sandbox. The next part is you need to submit it online for application review on x.com, and I can provide you more details on the application process itself. And once your application is approved, then you go live. Few simple steps. I'll hand it over to Steve for doing his demo for Concur and how he's integrated with adaptive payments. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, and very much appreciate you guys inviting us here. The PayPal relationship has been awesome over the last several weeks and months as we've prepared for this launch. And I really love this prop, not just because it's almost Halloween, but the check almost dying is a nice a moment for Concur, who spent almost 17 years now automating and removing paper from a pretty gruesome process. And in many ways, this can almost be seen as the last mile of removal of paper. And if you're like me, from your personal world, that little number's largely gone. Every once in a while, you walk into a grocery store and get stuck behind one, and you almost can't believe it. But in the business world, it seems to have hung on. And I think as we look at innovating the experience of automating travel and expense, the relationship with PayPal is pretty critical to walking across that last mile of removing paper. So let's talk about the incredibly interesting world of the sex appeal of automated expense reporting. I think all of you will probably be filling out one of these little numbers after this trip, and you're probably dreading it. It's something that has not seen a lot of innovation in outside of the enterprise space for years and years and years, and we're here with PayPal talking about innovation for small businesses. So what does Concur do? How many of you have heard of Concur? I suspect many of you may have even used Concur at some point in your life, especially if you've worked for an enterprise. The company has 17 years of innovation and automation of basically employee spend, both travel and expense. And like I said, with Concur Breeze, the innovation earlier this year, we're bringing a lot of that experience to bear for small businesses in a very automated and hosted way. And, you know, we have a lot of experience to bring. Over 17 years, you can see here we processed $35 billion in T&E expense a year across 28 million transactions for more than 10,000 enterprise customers around the globe. And based in Redmond, Washington, we have upwards of 1,300 employees. But innovation has been at the core for this company from the beginning. In 1994, we were the first to automate travel and expense, and then in 99 took the leap and were one of the very first, definitely the first in this category to move to hosting to software as a service platform. And then with the acquisition of QlikBook in 2006, really brought integrated end-to-end travel and expense, not just the end of your business travel, but the booking at the beginning as well, and integrating those two so that they were very seamless and easy for you. In 2009, the first true mobile travel and expense solution brought to bear with the true advent finally of mobile. And then earlier, like I said, this year in 2010, Concur Breeze, which is where we're bringing all of that experience to small and mid-sized companies. So, and this is the problem that we try to solve. I think many of you experience this problem. I won't go through this in detail, just a couple of things to mention here with the platform that we've created. We've been able to compress and, like I said, largely automate and remove paper from this entire process. And with the PayPal integration that we're going to show you here in a moment, this last trip around the, almost looks like a chutes and ladders game here, this last trip around the path of getting reimbursed as an employee, we've been able to automate and make that a whole lot more seamless as well. So let's talk about that. I'm going to show you a demo of the integration here. If we can get the. This is a video from our development team of how we've integrated, allowed small businesses who are using Concur Breeze to reimburse their employees without checks and very quickly through the business payments application of PayPal. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Good thing I brought an extra one in my pocket. Hold, please. Sorry.
Today you will see a demonstration of how quick and easy it is to integrate Concur Breeze with PayPal Business Payments. It's a win-win for employers and employees. Employers save money by not having to do manual checks or payroll runs, and employees get paid quickly and securely. Our story begins with the Concur Breeze setup wizard you see here. The Concur Breeze Best Practice Setup Wizard leads the employer through a number of steps loaded with our best practice configurations we've learned from thousands of customers over the last 10 years. The employer easily proceeds to the setup and comes to the payment step. The PayPal Business Payments setup will walk the employer through connecting their existing PayPal account to Concur Breeze or setting up a new PayPal account as necessary. The first step in that process is for the employer to identify their PayPal account by clicking on the link here. After clicking the link, the employer is simply redirected to PayPal, where they can log in and associate their account to Concur Breeze. We'll agree and continue. And then you'll see it's that easy. We're redirected back to Concur Breeze. You can see here that the identification of my PayPal account was successful, and I've linked Sarah K at greenorganics.com to Concur Breeze. The next step is to authorize payments using my PayPal bank account. Click on the link, and I'll be securely redirected back to PayPal. I'll securely log in again, and then I'll be able to actually link my bank account to my payments. Here you can see we have checking. I've input a routing number and account number. And we'll call this screen, Organics account. And we'll click Link Bank Account. And this will link my company bank account to pay my employees for their expense reports. The next step is to confirm deposit amounts. This will 100% verify that the linkage to my bank account has happened. All right, congratulations, we are linked, and we'll hit continue. And here we can see the full information and click approve. And after we're redirected to Concur Breeze securely for a final time, you can see that step 2 and step 3 are both completed. I've authorized payments and verified my bank account, so I can continue on with setup. It's also incredibly easy for an employee to get set up to be paid via PayPal. They just click here to sign up, and they go through a similar process of identifying their PayPal account and securely authorizing payments to their PayPal bank account. The employee will click here to link their PayPal account. The employee is redirected to sign into PayPal and follows a similar setup as the employer, where they agree and continue. And after the employee is securely redirected, they can authorize payments to their PayPal bank account. We'll fast forward our story a bit into the future, and as expense reports are submitted and approved, they are available for payment via the robust Concur Breeze Payment Manager tool. The administrator simply clicks to close the payment batch, and an unlimited number of reports and employees have been paid with one click. Funds are automatically transferred from the employer PayPal account to the employee PayPal account. Thanks for watching this demo on how easy it is to set up PayPal business payments with Concur Breeze to pay employees for their expense reports. For more information, please go to www.concourbreeze.com.
Okay, so there you have it. And I think what Sarah said in that video is very important. As we've integrated Concur Breeze into our platform, into our product continuum, we've really brought the experience of serving 10,000 enterprise customers to bear for small businesses in terms of best practices embedded and all the security involved with that as well. Now that we've got PayPal, the partnership with PayPal implemented, we've been able, like I said, to remove paychecks from the process as well, and really very quickly, seamlessly, and paperlessly reimburse employees for expense reports. So come check it out. We've got a demo booth out on the floor here, and hope to see you out there. I think I'm going to introduce Patrick now, who's going to go through another demo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Steve. And so we're going to take a little bit of a shift from online expense reimbursements to travel and talk to you a little bit about HomeAway and what we're doing there to help facilitate online payments of vacation rentals. So before we get into the demo, I'm going to take you guys through a couple slides in case you're not familiar with HomeAway.com. We are the largest global marketplace for vacation rentals and bed and breakfasts. Leading websites in the US, UK, France, Germany, South America, and Brazil. About 540,000 properties around the world. Annually, we see about 300 million traveler visits. So we're a pretty substantial website. We were founded in 2005 and really grown primarily through acquisition and just due to the nature of the size of this industry. We believe our estimates, best guess estimates today are about a $50 billion global marketplace for vacation rentals. Again, grown through acquisition, 16 acquisitions on 3 continents, and we're up to about 740 employees today. So a pretty impressive business for a 5-year-old company based in Austin, Texas. Our model today is classifieds. So we basically take an annual subscription payment from an owner, call it $300 a year, and we put their ad up in front of travelers and drive qualified leads to them. So our currency today to to an owner is in the form of email or phone inquiries from travelers. That is the point where we say we've delivered the value that you've asked for, and now it's up to you to figure out kind of the rates and the pricing and the contract with your guest. And so that's been a very successful business model for us. As we look to the future in terms of what we want to do with the business and where we want to see future growth, it's really about enabling and participating in the transaction. And so that's kind of the area of the business that I've been responsible for over the past year. We believe today we're facilitating about $5 billion of that transaction volume. That's largely happening offline via check. So back to the earlier points from Paulina and Neelam is that we're still 60+% of these transactions are being paid for by check. When was the last time you paid, I don't know how many of you guys are coming in from out of town, but when was the last time you paid for a hotel with a check, right? You went on to Expedia, you went on to Orbitz, and you paid with your credit card. We need to get our industry, the vacation rental category, into that paradigm. And owners also want help, right? They don't necessarily want to pay to take online payments. It's a bit of a black box. I don't really know how to do it. I don't know what a merchant account is. It seems expensive. But they need help with the process of fielding those inquiries, of sending quotes, of sending rental agreements to the traveler, and then finally accepting that payment and handling that. So today it's call it a 1 to 3 week process to book a vacation rental, largely. There are some owners who take PayPal, there are some owners who take credit cards, but not nearly as many as we'd like. So what we're building right now is really, there's kind of a two-pronged strategy that we need to solve for. One is, how do we introduce a payment application or a payment method that's affordable and attractive to our owners? And secondarily, how do we help them move those transactions online? So how do we help them take their existing workflow process of handling quotes and reservations and rental contracts and bring that into an online mechanism? So we're working on what we call the reservation workflow application, which we'll demo in a second, that really helps them manage, what it really means is it's a guest CRM platform. It's a process automation platform. It's an ability for them to enter data such as amounts and dates and not have to re-enter that data multiple times. So they can enter that one time and we'll stream that data through the course of the workflow into the rental agreements, into the payment requests, and so on and so forth. The other key point here, and you guys will say, well, why don't you just do online booking, right? Homeowners are not generally ready for that. These are people who, some of you may have a second home up in Tahoe or a beach house down in Cabo or whatever. You don't really want to let a stranger come into your property. You want to have a chance to talk to them on the phone. You want to have a chance to vet them and understand who they are. Are they going to take care of your property? And also, what if you'd forgotten to update your calendar? What if it's actually not available that weekend? So those are kind of the two key things that an owner wants to maintain from a control perspective is who's staying in my home and is it really available? So again, I spoke to this a moment ago, but online payments, we've got to have an affordable option for our homeowners. Today, the average ticket size for a vacation rental is about $2,000. 3% merchant fees add up very quickly on that. So that's, $60 fee. And as I said, majority of payments today are made via check. So what we're effectively competing against to pull those owners online is free, right? Why would I pay $60 when I do this today and it doesn't cost me anything? Unlike many other goods and services that people buy online, vacation rentals are oftentimes booked months in advance. So there's not that sense of urgency that an owner has to take the payment, make sure the funds are good and available immediately. They can wait a week or two. It's really the traveler, in this case, that suffers from having that real-time instant gratification. So with that, I want to go ahead and take you guys through a pretty simple demo, if I can find it, and show you, and thankfully we saw a lot of the onboarding screens for both the buyer and the seller in the previous demo. We don't have a lot of those screens in our presentation, a couple, but really spend time on how we would integrate this business payment solution into our application. So what you're looking at here is kind of a screenshot of our new owner dashboard. And this is the place where a homeowner who lists their property on one of our websites, in this case homeway.com, would log in and they would have a centralized view of their key business activities. I'm not going to take you through this in a lot of detail, but what you can see on the left spine here is there's a payments link, which doesn't exist today. This would be an example where, so I'm going to take you through the flow of an owner kind of coming in. They can look at their inquiries that they've received in the last week, their reservations, their reviews. They can manage their listing. But we're going to go over here and set up our payment account. A lot of the branding, a lot of the verbiage on these pages is placeholder, lorem ipsum, so please excuse that. But they would basically have the ability to learn about why it's important to accept online payments. We would have some marketing videos and whatnot. And they say, great, I want to go ahead and get started. So they would look down here. Here are the payment methods that I can set up with HomeWay. And look at that, PayPal business payments right on top, 50 cents per payment. That seems like a great deal. Of course, travelers like to pay with credit cards. They want points, they want the assurances. We're going to have to offer that. So what we're going to do here is really give the owner the ability to set their preferred payment method. In this case, we believe majority of owners are going to want to promote the low-cost option to them. They would say, great, go ahead and set that up. Excuse me. And on this screen, it's really the idea that we're going to introduce what is PayPal Business Payments. They can enter their username, email address to link their account, submit that. We would have a real-time callback to PayPal to make sure that that account exists. And then that would, when that's completed, you see the messaging along the top of the dashboard. Great, your PayPal account has been linked. You're ready to accept payments. Good to go. That was pretty easy. So let's go in and look at an inquiry and look through the flow of how an owner would then submit a payment request to a traveler and how that would work. So go in to manage their inquiries. Let's go ahead and zip through this as a list of all the inquiries I've received, as the details of the reservation request. I could click inquiry details, and now I'm looking at the detail for Sam. Some of the templates we're going to be introducing are just very simple pre-populated tools where they can select, yes, I'm available, no, I'm unavailable, I want to send you a quote, or I want to send you a payment request. And we'll pre-populate that. So in this example, we'll go through and look at the payment request. Click that. The template would refresh. We would pre-populate some copy that the owner could edit, but it would be very straightforward. Thank you for inquiry. Yes, I'm available. And if you'd like to book, please see the quote below and click the payment link. So they would go in here. They would click edit. We would open a modal. We could type in what is the lodging cost for that date, tax, and any additional taxes that need to be collected. One of the key friction points today in the vacation rental space for travelers is the damage deposit. And typically that's about a $500 deposit that vacation rental homeowners would require. We don't believe that that's a good experience for the traveler, but yet we understand the concerns that homeowners have to protect their property from people who may accidentally damage something. So we're going to be promoting a new product called Property Damage Protection. And this product basically is a short-term accidental damage policy that a traveler would buy, non-refundable, $39, that would provide $1,500 in coverage to the homeowner. So we think it's a nice replacement for this damage insurance product. So that would be there, some better marketing than what you see here. And great, there's the total. I'm going to go ahead and save that quote. So in real time, I'm building an invoice to my travelers. I have the introduction, the quote. Now we'll go ahead and let's talk about the payment schedule methods, and that's why we're here today. So this would open up, and basically, again, vacation rentals, unlike hotel payments or other lodging accommodations, are typically paid in advance. So in this case, 2 payments would be due. 50% is going to be due on agreement to confirm the booking. The balance would be due 30 days prior to arrival. I could make that 60 days prior to arrival or whatever I want to customize that to. And then you see here below, we've set up our online payments, and now those payment methods are displayed here. So as an owner, I can specify which payment method I'm going to offer. I've already done the onboarding process. And if I hadn't done the onboarding process in advance, those would be grayed out. The owner could click one, and they would go through that simple onboarding setup process. So pretty straightforward. I save that down. Great, payment methods are accepted. It shows the amounts when they're due. And then down below, there's the rental agreement. We're not going to go into the details of how that works, but we're going to basically give owners the ability to specify cancellation policies and any other terms and conditions they have around their vacation home. They can upload their own rental agreement there, and that would be dynamically generated. So great. So now we'll go ahead and jump over. Whoops, I think I'm way over. So real quick, 15 seconds. The traveler view, they now have an email from HomeAway. They have a nice invoice from the owner. They click Pay Now. They would go into the payment checkout page, and they would see the option of buying additional products. That's interesting with us on the PayPal business payment side because of the adaptive payments functionality. We need to be able to split things like travel insurance into a separate merchant account hosted by our insurance partners, while the vacation rental payment itself is going into the homeowner's merchant account. So the adaptive payments functionality is actually absolutely critical for our application. They would say, great, go ahead and pay with PayPal. You're going to go over to PayPal here, 5 seconds, boom. They would log in on the screens you already saw. We didn't include those in this demo, and say, great, good to go. That looks like the right amount. Pay now, and they would be redirected back to HomeAway with a payment confirmation notice. They had made their payment. So So with that, I think I will open it up. Paulina.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Steve. I think these are great examples of some of the use cases and applications of the PayPal business payments, which is kind of a pretty disruptive product for us. New pricing structure, new opportunity, new market out there, and we do see a lot of billions and billions of transactions being paid with cash and check today, moving online, and we really want to embrace this opportunity and give the developers an opportunity to tap into this market. So at this point, I think we should just open up for Q&A. So maybe I can ask Neelam, Patrick, and Steve to come back up, and let's open the floor for questions.
I guess this is for Neelam. So if we want to take advantage of this package, we have to get the entire application approved by PayPal. We have to actually, dummy up a website and say this is what it's going to look like, and you check it off.
Right. What do you mean by entire application? Can you qualify that?
Well, let's say I want to, start going into competition with HomeAway, and I want to set up something where my group of closest friends, it's a bounded group, want to collect checks for vacation rentals. That's my idea. I've just told it all to you, and I've written lots of websites. I can do this. But do you have to actually see the sample application?
Right. Yeah, we do have the application process on x.com where we have some sample code also. Do we see sample code, Aaron? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we do a review of an application, it's typically, we look at some compliance risk, payment flow. We don't judge your overall application, because PayPal may be just a small part of it. We just want to make sure that the payment part meets certain baseline requirements and guidelines.
Would you do that by looking at Sandbox code? Or?
Yes, we do everything. It has to be fully functional with Sandbox.
And then the way that you actually communicate that has been approved is you give us credentials or something to make it actually start working?
Yes, we hand you what's called an app ID, and you just switch that into your code, and then you can make live calls.
Right. We also have a sample app ID for Sandbox if you want to test your application on Sandbox and see if all the business payments functionality is working on Sandbox or not. You'll get a different app ID for Sandbox.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron is he leads the app vetting process, so he's definitely the subject matter expert in this. Thank you.
Just to verify, so to apply for this new program, like HomeAway, for example, needed to show the application just like Steve just did, and not only the application, you need to understand the business model to assess the risk before you approve the 50 cents per transaction pricing?
That's correct. So because this is the pricing structure and the product that is applicable to very specific business cases, we do want to vet and make sure that this business case makes sense for this pricing. So there will be a vetting process, yes.
Right, so you don't need to show the final application, you just need to have a proof of concept like Steve did, correct?
Yes.
And follow on, will, if you're approved, is there an ability to uplift that charge, or is it 50 cents, period, per transaction?
Sorry, I didn't hear
the question is, it's more like a reseller, I guess, in my mind, where there's a 50 cents per transaction, and HomeAway is going to offer this. Does HomeAway have the opportunity to uplift that, so the price to the, is not 50 cents, say it's 60 cents?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and we've sort of started working with our partners on figuring out the way where we can balance the market adoption, because obviously the receivers of the payment are looking for a cost-effective way to do that, right? So the higher the price, the less likely they are to adopt. At the same time, we appreciate the fact that you as a developer need somehow to make money. So I think it's we do allow the surcharge on top of the 50 cents, but again, understanding that the increasing the price is going to negatively impact market adoption of the product, and therefore kind of defeats the purpose.
Excuse me? So the answer to that is yes, that I guess it's a case-by-case basis, but HomeAway working with you can say, okay, we're going to charge our end customers 60 cents per transaction. Are you okay with that? So, but it sounds like the answer is yes, there is the ability to uplift.
There is the ability to offer, yes.
I have two questions. The first one is whether you've got an estimated timeline for moving outside of just U.S. to U.S. business, for example, Canada.
Right. We have started looking into that already, and we don't have an exact date, but sometime early next year.
Early next year. Thank you.
Yeah, we may be going country by country or maybe a bunch of countries together. Which are the countries you're interested in? Canada for now?
Canada for now, yeah.
Yeah, we will be going there pretty soon.
Excellent. My second question is, for example, we've already integrated PayPal to accept payments from our customers who are also businesses. So we're strictly a business to business. So it's really a receivables and, primarily a receivables play. So would that be just a no-brainer in that case? There's no reason why our app would not be approved for that application?
You are asking whether that application will be eligible for this, or how to move that application to business payments?
Oh, yeah, our app is an internal app that's part of our whole billing cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And we would want to migrate it to business payments because it's so much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So would there be any issue with doing that?
No, if the business case and the business model makes sense for this product, then there will not be an issue in migrating the application. We can talk more about what exactly business case you're talking about, and we can help with the migration.
All right, thank you.
We have a use case around just sending out invoices from QuickBooks. Among our customer base, we see a number of people who certainly have pure business-to-business use cases. Just looking at the payments we have coming in today, we do see some people who are invoicing consumer customers, even for a closed eBay auction would be kind of one case. And sort of, which seems like it's outside the use case. I'm wondering sort of what your... I don't have a way of telling kind of what the mix of usage might be there. I'm sort of wondering if you have any thoughts on what your expectations are, sort of how we should basically be policing that to tell the consumer users that no, they can't use this one. It's not clear to me sort of what, either within your system or within our system, the control points should be around that.
Yeah, no, we totally understand what you're saying. So I think the approach we're taking here is this is not the right product for physical goods or digital goods, and there are other products in our portfolio that we are offering to the merchants to support the purchase transactions. So this is really the product for service payments and for invoicing for situations where that does not involve shipping. So as such, if the vendor or the participant or your customer, their primary business is selling stuff, that's probably not the right product. And we would encourage them to use our standard product that is best suited for that solution.
Hi. Yeah, this may be a little silly question, but it's more conceptual. Earlier in the demo for the employee reimbursements, there was a linkage of the employer to their checking account, and later on there was also a mention of having sufficient funding in the employer PayPal account. So if the funds of the employer PayPal account run out, will it automatically transfer from their checking account?
Yes, it does. You don't have to manually transfer funds from your bank account to your PayPal account. If there are zero funds in your PayPal account and if you're trying to make a payment of $100, it will pull from your bank account and transfer it to the receiver.
And that's okay with the bank?
Yes. You confirm the bank. When you add the bank, it's not just like you're giving your routing number and bank account number, you actually confirm that you have access to that bank by entering the random deposits or entering your bank username and password and verifying that you own the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the authentication part of it, but even a normal ACH transaction now takes like 1 or 2 days, so I don't know how real time the...
So bank-funded transaction, the time is limited by the amount of time it takes from transferring the funds from bank account to your account. So it takes typically 3 to 5 days. Yeah.
One more question.
Okay.
How do you manage fraud and disputes? So if a customer's bank account is compromised and a transaction happens and the bank comes back and takes funds, so is the end merchant responsible for chargebacks?
Did you say chargebacks?
Or who's responsible? Who'll lose the money in that case?
It depends on use cases. In business payment, did you want to take that? Okay. For business payments, what we have seen from experience as well as the use cases, there is not much scope for dispute. For example, expense reimbursements. Employee and employer, we don't see them having a dispute over the payment itself. There may be something on the expense report itself, but not so much on the payments. Business payments are more of a handshake between a sender and a receiver. So disputes are less compared to like what you would see in the consumer world. But if there are any disputes, we have a dispute management process on PayPal where sender and receiver can try to resolve the dispute on paypal.com.
I think we have, go ahead, Neil. I think we have one more question.
Sure.
Hi. Business to business is some kind of competition of bank transfers?
You're asking what business payments are?
Yes, exactly.
So business to business payments are payments between two entities for the services they have rendered to each other.
Yeah, a competition from the bank transfer?
So you're asking...
Business to business bank transfer has some commissions.
Right, so you're asking, is this product competing with the bank product, which is basically ACH?
Yes.
In some sense it does, yes. In terms of the price points, we are pretty close to ACH, and we're providing a similar sort of cost-effective way to do the business-to-business payment.
All right, thank you. If there are additional questions, they'll be outside.
Go.
All right, thank you guys.